For a long while, after the Men of Gondor had vanished into the eastern dark, Haldir did not move. The ruined town lay silent around him. Its broken walls stood black against the paling stars. The thorn trees whispered softly where no wind stirred. Beneath the broken dome, the fountain still poured its clear and soundless water, as it had done through forgotten years, but the basin was empty now. The pale light that had slumbered beneath its surface was gone. Haldir stood beside it, one hand pressed to the wound beneath his mail. Blood darkened the silver cloth there, though he gave no sign of pain. His eyes were fixed upon the eastern road, where the last shadows of Faramir's company had passed far from sight. Rúmil came to him over the stones. Around them, the Galadhrim moved softly among the fallen, tending those who yet breathed and covering the faces of those who did not. Of the men who had fallen, they did the same. For though battle had come between them, hatred had not yet wholly mastered their hearts. This had not been a war of orcs and elves, nor a raid of wild men from the hills. This had been grief set against grief and duty drawn like a blade. "The men have the jewel," said Rúmil. Haldir's face did not change. "They have it for now." Rúmil looked eastwards. "They will make for Gondor." "Yes," said Haldir, "or for those who rule there. Faramir is wise, but he is still a son of men, and men do not always understand the hunger that fair things awaken in their hearts." He turned and then looked down into the fountain. For a moment the water reflected only the broken dome above, pale against the fading night. Then the surface trembled, and Haldir thought he saw again the bright court of Eregion as they had been before ruin. Silver lamps, open doors, and smiths whose hands had shaped beauty before pride and malice bent craft towards their darker end. The vision passed. "We cannot follow blindly," said Rúmil. "The wounded must be gathered. The dead must be bore away. And then, if the men move swiftly, they may gain the southern roads before we can overtake them." "They will not take the open roads," Haldir answered. "Faramir will fear pursuit. He will seek the riverways and the cover of the land between the Gladden and the Anduin. There, he will think to turn south under the mist and willow until Gondor lies before him." Rúmil's eyes narrowed. "Then we will meet them on the Gladden, if fortune remains with us." At that, Haldir drew himself upright, though the wound troubled him. There was a weariness in him now, and more than weariness. The star that had been drawn from a place of elven memory and carried away by men beneath his very hand. Yet he knew also that he had seen courage amongst those men, and not treachery. That made the matter more bitter, not less. For if Faramir had been cruel, Haldir might have hated him. But Faramir had been honorable, and honor in an enemy is a grief of its own. Haldir turned to Rúmil. "You must go west." Rúmil looked at him sharply. "West?" "To Imladris." At that name, some of the nearby elves lifted their heads. "The House of Elrond is not what it was," said Rúmil. "Many have departed. The days of the Great Council are ended." "Not all wisdom has departed them," said Haldir. "And if any in Middle-earth still know the lost works of Eregion, it will be found in Rivendell. We need counsel. We need memory older than our own. If the star is what Galadhrim feared, then this quarrel between Lorien and Gondor is but the first shadow in a greater peril." Rúmil was silent. Then he bowed his head. "And you?" I will follow Faramir.
You are wounded.
I have been wounded before.
This is no orc band fleeing through the hills, said Rúmil. These are men of Gondor, with a captain of renown, and if they turn on you by the river,
then I will learn how dearly they value the thing that they have taken. For a moment, the brothers looked upon one another beneath the broken stars. No embrace passed between them, nor long farewell. Such things were not needed between those who had stood side by side through many winters of the world. At last Rúmil said, I will go. Haldir placed a hand upon his shoulder. Ride lightly, speak plainly, tell them the star has awakened, that men have taken it, and that blood has already been shed beneath its light. And if they will not aid us, Haldir looked towards the east, then we shall do what we can with the strength that remains. Before dawn had fully broken, Rúmil departed. He went with only few companions, swift and silent, taking the northern path between grey trees and over forgotten stones. Soon the mist folded around him, and his cloak vanished among the thorns. Haldir watched until he could see him no more. Then he gathered those Galadhrim who could still march. The hunt began. Far to the south, in the White City, unease had already taken root. Denethor, steward of Gondor, sat long in thought beneath cold stone and high banners. Tidings had come northwards and southwards by ways only known to messengers and watchmen. Faramir had found something in the wild, something old, something bound to Elven memory. There had been signs in the north, strange lights, dreams, a relic, and then silence. Denethor did not love silence. He stood before a high window and looked eastward, though his thought was not upon Mordor. That shadow had passed, yet the habit of watchfulness had not left him. He spent too many years seeing dangers where others saw only distance. He had trusted too few, and feared too much. But fear, in a ruler, often wore the mask of wisdom. Faramir has a gentle heart, he said at last. Behind him, Boromir stood in armor dark and bright, his cloak clasped at the shoulder, his sword at his side. He said nothing. He is learned, Denethor continued, patient, thoughtful. Men praise such things when the road is clear and the fire is warm. But there are errands on which thought becomes delay and mercy becomes weakness. Boromir's jaw tightened. My brother is no coward. No, said Denethor, turning, but he may fail all the same. The words hung between them. Boromir took one step forward. Then send me. Denethor looked at his eldest son for a long moment. In Boromir, he saw strength plainly shaped, courage without mist around it, a will like hammered iron, a man made for the field, and for the sight of soldiers who need to believe that victory could still be taken by hand. If Faramir was a lantern in the dark places, Boromir was a horn call on the wall. Find him, said Denethor. Bring the relic home if you can. Bring Faramir if you must. I would know what power has drawn both Gondor and Lorien into bloodshed among the Forgotten Stones. And if the Elves stand in our way... Denethor's gaze hardened. Then remind them that the world is not theirs alone to guard. Boromir bowed, and before the next sunrise he rode north with a small company of men at his back. He did not travel as Faramir had traveled. There was little secrecy to Boromir. He moved swiftly and openly,
choosing hard roads and long marches, driving his men onward with the force of his own certainty. Where villagers had heard rumors of grey-cloaked rangers, he followed. Where old tracks bent towards the riverlands, he pressed on. And as he went, the land grew wilder. At last, beneath a sky heavy with rain, Boromir came upon his brother near the waters of the Gladden. The river moved dark and restless through the reeds of the low willows, its banks slick with mud and silvered by mist. Faramir's company was diminished. Men who had marched beneath the white tree now walked with torn cloaks and hollowed eyes. Some bore wounds roughly bound, some leaned upon spears, and among them, guarded closely, Boromir of Ithil, pale and silent, with the Star of Eregion wrapped and hidden beneath his cloak. Boromir saw at once that Madril was not with them. He dismounted. Faramir came forward to meet him. For a moment, neither brother spoke. The sound of the river filled the space between them. Then Boromir said, more softly than his manner would usually allow, "Where's Madril?" Faramir's face grew still. He fell beneath the ruins. Boromir looked past him, toward the weary rangers and the wounded men. His hand closed briefly around the hilt of his sword. "Elves did this." "Elves," said Faramir, "and we to them." Boromir looked back at him. "Then it's true. You have the thing they sought." Faramir did not answer at once. Instead, he turned and called Boromir forward. The ranger came reluctantly. He had not slept, or if he had, no rest had touched him. His eyes were shadowed, and his right hand was wrapped in cloth, though no wound showed through it. From beneath his cloak he drew the covered brooch, and even veiled it seemed to give a faint light, like a dawn seen through storm cloud. Boromir stared at it. "So small a thing," he said. "Yes," said Faramir. "Small things have troubled the great before." Boromir glanced at him, but not to smile. "You should have waited." "For whom?" "For aid, for orders, for me." Faramir's eyes sharpened, though his voice remained low. "There was no time. Haldir would have taken it west, and then Gondor would never have learned what awakened beyond its borders. And now? Now we take it south, carefully, quietly, and pray that wisdom may still be found, before more blood is spent." Boromir looked northward through the mist. "They will follow." "They already do." So the sons of Denethor went south together beside the Gladden. Though not in peace, Faramir moved with caution, setting scouts along the reeds and among the trees. Boromir urged greater speed, for he trusted more to strength than shadow. Between them walked Boromir, bearing the hidden star, and those who passed near him felt at times a sorrow that was not their own. All day the river ran beside them. By evening the mist had thickened, and the reeds whispered under the wind from the north. The company came to a bend where the Gladden narrowed between low banks and dark trees. There, Faramir halted suddenly and raised his hand. Boromir saw it too. Ahead, beyond the veil of river mist, shapes moved among the trees. Tall figures, pale cloaks, bows held low, but ready. The elves had come before them. For a moment, the men of Gondor stood upon the riverbank, weary, wounded, far from home. Behind them lay the ruin and the dead. Before them waited Lorien. Between them, hidden beneath a ranger's cloak, the Star of Eregion burned softly, as if listening. Boromir drew his sword. Faramir did not. Not yet.